Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is a wonderful day in the corporate neighborhood. Or is it? Welcome to the Elevate Your Corporate Value podcast with Dr. E, where we will have conversations on the topics under the four pillars I feel are critical to employee success in corporate: leadership, engagement, analytics, and performance, aka LEAP. Mastering these will allow you to have wonderful days and to leap in your career. I am Elizabeth Dr. E. Carter, PhD, your corporate elevation and transition strategist and host. I understand the challenges you face as a corporate professional trying to thrive in the workplace. I have the experience and expertise to help you navigate in the corporate world. We will laugh, cry, but most importantly, accumulate tools that will allow you to become more confident, empowered leaders who are valued and respected in the corporate world. Now, I share in the spirit of giving you what I never got, the feedback that would have helped me that I never received. So let's get started. Hello, Elizabeth, Dr. E. Carter, PhD here, the host of your Elevate Your Value Summit, host of the Elevate Your Corporate Value podcast. Welcome. I'm excited for my next speaker I have here with me, one of my co-authors from my volume 2, Letters to My Corporate Sisters, Stories of Endurance, Elevation, and Encouragement. I have with me Ms. Yvonne Wilborn. Yvonne, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Dr. Carter, and how are you?
I am blessed today. So excited that we have been able to get up this morning and change lives.
That's
So tell me
right.
a little bit about yourself.
Well, Dr. Carter, as you know, my name is Yvonne Wilborn, and I am a graduate from the University of Pittsburgh with a bachelor's degree in administration of justice and a minor in legal studies. Before I graduated, I did my internship with the Pittsburgh Police, and I toured the domestic violence unit. And that's when I got interested in advocating against domestic violence, and I've been doing it since 2017.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And it's such an interesting conversation when we talk about domestic violence. So you mentioned that you had done a internship with the police department, and that was when you found your passion. So really, what drove you to say, that's what I want to focus in on?
Um, what drove me to it is because, first and foremost, I am a former domestic violence victim. I am now a survivor. So I want to bring what I've learned about my experience to the forefront so I can help those who are paralyzed victims become victors.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And when we're thinking about elevating your values, so again, in this instance, in what you work on, a lot of times we need to help women elevate from where they are because they're not feeling great. They are in a situation they don't want to be in, and they want to be able to get out of it and move forward and live their lives productively and on their own terms. So you mentioned that you also were a victim of domestic violence. And for me, that feels like that was a time in your life when you weren't feeling valued. So tell me a little bit about that and tell me, how did it make you feel?
Um, it was a horrific situation, and especially if you have children. And it's not only about you, you have to think about your children as well. It's a great deal of suffering, and to have someone abuse you in that manner is so degrading. as a woman, because first and foremost, we're women and we're nurturers. And we have compassion. And when that becomes destroyed, when you're in a situation like that, it just it just tears you down. It breaks you down. And when I finally got out of it, it took a great deal. First of all, I had to start focusing on me, as a woman, first and foremost, and what I wanted for myself. And the more it happened, the stronger I got. I was determined to get out. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I was up against a whole lot, but I managed to get out. But some of my friends that I have didn't make it.
Yes. Wow. Thank you. And when we think about, this essence of feeling stuck and needing to get out, it's not just in a domestic violence relationship. Sometimes that's even at work. Sometimes we may feel constrained and constricted. We may feel tied to our desks, if you will, because we're afraid to leave our company. We're afraid to step out on faith and do something different. We may have similar hidden scars. Maybe there might be some abuse at work from a boss not treating us right. So there's so many correlations when we think about the essence of domestic violence, because some of those feelings and those situations are very common across multiple types of women and what they're going through. So thank you for that. So tell me about, now you came in on the other side. Tell me about a time when you felt valued, where you knew you were empowered, you were in control, and everything was working in your favor.
Well, when I felt valued is when I escaped my abuser, and I escaped with so much knowledge, and I became a strong female. And that is when I really started talking. I really started listening to stories about what other women had to say about what they were going through. And each time I heard a story, it took just a little bit, gave me just a little bit more to keep fighting, and I wanted them to fight, So I just became a stronger woman because of it. And I want even men, I mean, they go through it as well. They need that talk, about domestic violence, because come on now, some of the ladies, you're not angels. Sometimes you can do your thing too. So yeah, and all in all is I just became a better woman and became stronger about it.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, because that really is very uplifting, because what you've been through, what many other women have been through, and some men, it's a lot. And to be able to stand on the other side, and you're right, as a fair number of people don't make it because they don't walk away, or they can't walk away, and then inevitably, unfortunately, other things happen to them. So that's great. So let's talk about now. You're what we call the domestic violence confidant. So when people now come to you, and you can give us just in general sense, what's the popular problem they have?
The most popular problem would be their brokenness. And there are different steps that they have to get over and to, get rid of the brokenness. They're vulnerable, they're weak, they're suffering from some of them from depression, and it's just that their confidence is just shot, and it's sad to see because some of them they cry a lot, and they want somebody, they want to be heard. They want somebody there that's going to listen. And my title, domestic violence victim, it's I'm a vault, so to speak. So if they come to me and they talk to me, they are for certain that our communication is in a vault. It's never repeated because a lot of victims are fearful that their words is going to be repeated. I was in that position where I was afraid to talk to anybody because I was afraid it would get back to my abuser.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm a confidant and they can feel free to talk to me about anything and everything.
That is great. And so many women probably don't know where to go or who to talk to or what to do. So what are some, first of all, what are some signs that a person may be abused? So say, people got sister friends and other people who, close to, and they may not see the signs or may not know what the signs are. What are some of those signals?
Well, me again, when I was being abused, it was the quietness, the shutting down, not the activities, there weren't any. It's always a fear factor that the abuse was always going to come around. And then that's when you freeze. You become paralyzed when you're around your abuser. And sometimes you might have rings around your neck. You could have a black eye and you're wearing sunglasses all the time, and it could be in the winter. And it's like, okay, why are you wearing sunglasses in the winter? And then you can it's just if somebody even hollers or screams, you jump. That's a trigger. There's the nervousness, and you're told what to do. Your abuser tells you what to do and what you cannot do. Another sign is that you are shunned away from your family and friends. You're not allowed on the phone. And if you are, you're told to get off. So it's a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of them they become really paralyzed and they do nothing about it. And it's sad, especially again when they have children, because if the mother becomes paralyzed, what can they do for their children?
Right. That's right.
So it's a great deal. And another thing is too, another sign is that the victim could be calling off work a lot, make up excuses about why they can't come in. That's because they have physical bruises on their bodies that they don't want their employer to see. That's another thing.
Wow, thank you. That's a lot. That is a lot. So, so for providing solutions, what are some things a person can do? First of all, if they are being abused, and then if someone has a friend who they're observing some of those characteristics you just mentioned, what can they do?
The friend, I always thought that there should be a code, like a word that you can tell your friend that if something's going on with me, and if I'm on the phone with you, it can be as simple as the word Pepsi. If you say the word Pepsi to your friend, then your friend will know that you're in trouble and they will call the police and send them to your home. But they can also contact the Women's Shelter Greater Pittsburgh, and then the number it's national as well. But for the most part, I would try to stay close to my family. Never, ever, not ever talk to your family members and your friends, because if you don't have them, you don't have nobody, and you always need somebody to talk to and tell them what's going on. So that's one way.
That's great. Yeah. So those of you out here listening, you've got some key information pertaining to if something's going on with you or something is happening with a friend or family member, now you've got some additional information to understand what to do. I love that code word, if you will, and it could be any word. And, because a lot of times, like you said, you may be on the phone for a minute or so because you're getting pushed off the phone. And you can just say, oh, hey, I'm sorry. I got to go grab a Pepsi. I got to call you back. And then if Pepsi's the
Mm-hmm.
word, they can go ahead and make the call. So I
Exactly.
love that. I love that. So anything else you want to be able to share? You shared some really great improvements for a person. And once a woman has gotten out of the relationship, what are some key ways for her to really go ahead and, and rejuvenate and really get back to herself and being able to elevate her value?
I always encourage someone to start doing self-care. You know, try to hang around or talk to people who brings positivity. Always be in the company of strong females, somebody that will lift you up. I pamper myself. I give myself bubble baths. I buy myself flowers. I take myself out to dinner. Just it's about you. Build that confidence back up. Get out and socialize. You might want to get into a program where it can help you with other women that's going through the same thing, and it's just all about the wellness, and I always listen to my gospel music. I have to have it. I even do that till this day. Every day I listen to my gospel music, and it does something to my spirit. It just helps me a great deal.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And there are so many activities for women, especially single women, where I know society has really been trying to help bring more women together, whether it's a trip, a day trip, a overnight trip, cruises, weekends, vacations. So I thank you for that because a lot of times, again, we're trying to recover, we're trying to rebuild. It's probably still, as you mentioned, family. We're probably there's family involved, where there's children. We're trying to again make sure they're not damaged from what they may or have seen or heard. So it's a lot.
Exactly.
So self-care is so important. I agree with you. And even when nothing is going on, we don't have to take time for ourselves. So
Yeah, you
even
do.
that
You
is much more important.
you
So
really
much.
do.
Yes. Yes. Anything else you'd like to share with our Elevate Your Value audience?
I'm just hoping to help as many women as I can and men to move forward in their life and just be a positive, turn into a positive role model for the next victim. You just never know. I always encounter women that tell me stories, and I'm like, wow, that's what made me. I have to get out here because they encouraged me to go and do, and I have to do this. And they're so happy about me being out here. They said, we need you. We need you out here. Come on, Miss Yvonne, you got to do it. So that's why I'm here. So I'm just hoping to turn a paralyzed victim into a positive victor.
Wonderful. And how can someone get in contact with you if they love what they heard and want to talk to you, our domestic violence confidant?
Okay, you can contact me through Yvonne Wilborn 682 at gmail.com or Bonnie's DV Strugglers. It's on Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne. I certainly appreciate having you on the Elevate Your Value Summit. I appreciate you being part of the Letters to My Corporate Sisters book. What you share in that book is so impactful. I learned a lot, and I even start to look at people differently just to make sure I'm not missing any clues. So I certainly appreciate what you shared and your transparency of information, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carter. Thanks for
Well,
having me.
absolutely. Thank you. And Elevate Your Value Summit members, stay tuned for more speakers and more information. Thanks so much, Yvonne. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
That is our topic and conversation for today. I am Elizabeth Dr. E. Carter, PhD, your host. Thank you so much for joining me for the Elevate Your Corporate Value podcast with Dr. E. Please like, share what you've heard today, and please tune in for our next episode. Thank you and have a great morning, great afternoon, and great evening.